Hello, this is my review for Tyrant Season 1, Episode 2, State of Emergency. I agree with some other reviewers that the show is a bit whitewashed, with Barry being like a white man, and also has a few negative stereotypes of Arabs, but I'm giving it a chance to see where it goes. After all, it is Hollywood. This review will have spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, then come back later. So let's begin. Considering the car crash that Jamal was in last week, hitting his head on a rock and everything, through the magic of Hollywood, he's alive and relatively unscathed. This takes me out of the show a bit in terms of believability, but I'm willing to accept the flaws for now. So Jamal is taken to the hospital, and while he's recovering, he gets less screen time, so we can actually explore a bunch of other characters and subplots. This is actually a good thing. In my first review, I wasn't sure who was getting married, but upon watching this episode, I can confirm that it was Jamal's son who was getting married. That makes what Jamal did to his daughter-in-law even more disgusting. We see her vehicle getting ambushed by child militants, and she is taken hostage. Barry wants to reason with these child militants and get the girl back. He eventually does, but then General Tarek, the military commander of his father, has the boys shot in the head, saying, "Better their blood than ours." I guess General Tarek figured that if he let the kids go, they would reappear eventually with some kind of roadside bomb or some kind of bomb in a vegetable market. And Barry is horrified by this, and it's a reminder of how he killed the terrorists that his brother never could when they were children. There's a scene with Barry and his mother, and his mother says it must be nice to absolve yourself of all responsibility, go to America where the pain of your family doesn't follow you. That's quite an important little line there because we begin this whole series with Barry not wanting to go back, and then at the end of last week's episode, he wanted to leave. By the end of this episode, he actually asks his wife's permission to stay, and then tells Jamal that he wants to stay and help, and Jamal's happy about that. So Barry has come full circle in 2 episodes, which is a little far-fetched again, but I'm willing to see where this all goes. So, Jamal's wife Layla pushes Barry's buttons by saying that in America, all he does is help overprivileged children with ear infections. And then we get some exposition. I'm not really crazy about exposition. I wish shows didn't dumb things down so much. Homeland had some exposition last year too, where they had to show us visually what was going on in case we didn't get it. And I kind of feel like that's making us feel stupid. I mean, maybe there are viewers who need all that stuff, but I wish there was a better way to communicate some things rather than kind of just shoving it down our throats and dumbing it down. Anyway, we see Barry and Layla as teenagers by a cave on the beach. Layla's coming on to Barry, doesn't want him to leave for America, and they kiss. So the big revelation here is that Barry had a thing with his brother's wife. And if you're counting nudie scenes, we almost get one with teenage Layla, but it wasn't really nude, and it was more of a silhouette. Anyway, there's another subplot going on with a girl named Samira who smuggles a man in her car. Samira's father doesn't want her getting into trouble, and Barry actually met with Samira's father last week briefly, and I believe they're friends. So I'm not sure about all the connections yet, but we also get to see the guy whose hand Jamal wounded last week. His nephew threatens him to choose sides. So there's this guy that was at the wedding. Jamal really threatened to cut off his finger and wounded him. He seems like quite of a timid man who's kind of caught between sides, or is he going to be a freedom fighter or rebel or what? Anyway, his nephew is now threatening him to choose sides, so a conflict is brewing, and I think these child militants are somehow related to this bigger brewing tension. Jamal miraculously gets out of the hospital and is standing on his own 2 feet by the end of the episode, delivering a public speech at his father's funeral, which is being broadcast on television news. In the span of 1 episode, we've seen Barry go from trying to escape America to asking his wife for permission to stick around and help out Jamal. This is a bit too far-fetched for me to believe, but I'll go along with it. His mother did guilt him out after all.
Must be nice to absolve yourself of all responsibility, where the pain of your family doesn't follow you.
And he did see those young boys get shot dead by the general of his father's military government, so he feels obligated to help. I guess that's a good thing. In terms of viewership, the show has lost almost half of its viewers, which doesn't bode well, but it's still early, so there's a lot of worse shows on TV. I'll be not too critical just yet, and I'll keep watching for a while to see how the show progresses. The plot's definitely moving forward, and the stage is set with a number of other characters now. It looks like the tensions will build out with General Tariq versus Barry versus Jamal versus the rebels or slash freedom fighters. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out since Barry is friends with Samira's father and Samira is helping the rebels slash freedom fighters. Episode 3 airs tonight, and I'll try to do my best to review this in the next few days. That's my review. Feel free to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and comment below. Thanks for watching.